third talk. It's a privilege to be here to stand to talk to you. And what I'm going to do in my talk called Healthy Aging, some important considerations. A lot of the things you will know. What I'm going to try and tell you is what things I've learned as an athlete, as a researcher in universities, and my own life from being in the 80s now. So I want to share some of the things with you, and hopefully I can help you to stay and become more cruisers than ever, okay? So one of the things I've always learned is as I've got older, I don't laugh as much as I used to. And I think laughter is actually a wonderful, wonderful medicine. And I remember seeing Sir Kenneth Dodd, who actually had such a brain that he could tell jokes. And we used to try and tell him, if those of you shared an audience with him, we've got a bus to catch, Ken, because he'd just go on. He could go jokes and jokes. Straight away, he had that mentality, so he didn't really suffer from what we would call dementia, which now is beginning to happen quite frequently in the UK. And as the late Sir Kenneth Dodd would say, he would say, "Good morning. My name is Kenneth Arthur Dodd, singer, photogenic playboy, and failed accountant." And I remember when he was signing an autograph, he said to a lady called Eileen, "Is that to the left or is that to the right?" So straight away, I've sort of engaged with you with a little bit of laughter, which is wonderful. The other thing with the aging process, no matter who you are, we are all going to get older as we can see ourselves. And even it happens to royalty, and I've been privileged to meet Her Majesty. And this was in 1992 when I was very lucky, I wouldn't say lucky, but I was awarded an MBE for my services to athletics. And I built up and shook hands with Her Majesty 5 times. And this is the first time, both of us cheering, smiling, and happy to be there. I was also, the last time I saw her was when I was at a Winston Churchill invitation. I got a medallion, and this was in 2016. You can see how we've aged there. So who you are, whether you're an Olympic athlete, royalty, that's just part of human nature. We're graduate. But what you can do is to try and slow the aging process down. I'm hoping to share with you some of the things I've found out to be beneficial. As I said earlier, I've written books on health-related fitness, preparing children for a lifetime of health and fitness, because I think that's so important, particularly today when they have too many computer games. You look back in your life early, we didn't have those facilities, but we did have a lot of outdoor activities that we could do, which has probably held us in good stead. And lastly, I have a book, and I've been basing some of my talk on what I would call healthy aging, a way of life. So, what is the secret to a happy and healthy life? There's no doubt that genes play a role, but scientists say a mere 20% of aging is down to genetics. The other 80% seems to be down to lifestyle, and I will be talking a little bit more about the lifestyle. As Keith Richards of the Rolling Stones has stated, "If I knew I was going to live this long, I would have taken better care of myself." That's the good news. It means we all have the potential to become super agers, those lucky people between the ages of 80 and 100 years old who are apparently immune to the woes of old age, remaining just as sharp and active as those are even decades younger. So what are some of the recent researches from scientists looking into longevity? Sleep and having a positive attitude is actually crucial. Sufficient physical activity and healthy nutrition are commonly cited pillars of healthy lifestyle, but sleep is important. And I know as we've all got older, we don't sleep as well as we did when we were younger. And I will talk about that a little bit later. You need apparently 7 to 9 hours are needed. And having less sleep affects brain function in the long term. You know yourself, when you have a good night's sleep, the body, brain, its cells are repairing, they sort out the toxins, and then you feel refreshed. How many times when we wake up, we'll still feel tired because we've been interrupted sleep or having interrupted sleep? The problem as we age, as I've said, the sleep cycles shorten, and the body clock, that's the circadian rhythms, weaken. However, University College in London, June 23, found that the daytime nap is good for you. Regular little naps is good for our brain and delays our aging between 3 and 6 years. So they've obviously done longitudinal studies. So the scientists recommend keeping naps to less than 30 minutes. I've found a lot of people said, I've gone for the nap bill, and I've actually slept for 3 hours, but I don't sleep at night. So they've gone the other way round, okay? So what helps and hinders older people? And they're the people, when I call older, over the ages of 65. So the intrinsic is within you. So what actually hinders us to actually take part in physical activity? The first one is the beliefs and attitudes towards physical activity. Okay, you probably had bad experiences, and therefore you feel neglected, well, I'm not interested. Other one is, particularly ladies, having a lower confidence level. You don't feel as though you'd like to go to the gym. You feel straight away it's too much hard work. So that's a little thing you look. You also lack in your body image, like, oh, I'm too thin. I've put a lot of weight. I don't feel good. Try and build your self-confidence, because a lot of people started like you, if that's the way you are. Have no positive experience. Always try to be positive. Look on the bright side, which I will talk to you about people who have been super agers. And the fear of overexertion. And the last but not least, falling. Ladies and gents, and I will talk to you, the importance of strength, particularly your balance activities. I know as I've got older, now I'm in my 80s, even now I'm beginning to feel a little bit wary. So you've got to keep the quadriceps strong. You've got to keep your balance good. So I'll try to help you and give you some insight into that. So what are the external, the intrinsic hinders? So one is lack of family or the partner, saying, why are you going to the gym? Why are you doing it? Being very negative. You've got to start to think of yourself as well. Society and cultural norms. Of course, the other one, if you want to work outdoors, particularly living in the UK, is the weather. Oh, it's raining, I won't bother to go today, etc. So that's the one. Or the season of the year. The other one is to look at the programs that leisure centres, or even if you're working from home, what do they offer you to benefit you, your lifestyle and you? So the one is the skills of the instructor or the teacher. There are some very, very good, and as you all know, there are also some very, very bad ones who actually teach you the bad techniques of certain lifting, for example. There is also the skills of the instructor and the teacher. Sometimes the contents are too easy or too hard. As you all know, to make progress, it's got to be a gradual incline in your activities and time. And the other one, when we had the COVID, a lot of people did Zoom and did experience their Joe Wicks and whatever. You could work out at home, have a little room, and all you need to do is your balance work, your strength work, and if you're fortunate to have a stationary bicycle, you can keep the heart and lungs going. So who are these super agers? I call them super agers, okay? These people, as I said, are still as active and as good sharp and brain-wise as any people decades younger. So how do you become a super ager? Some of you I've met today on this cruise and yesterday can I say, well done, you're a super ager, okay? You managed to go beyond that 80, still doing the things that you wanted to do. And that's the importance, the things you want to do today. So how to be a super ager and keep healthy, full of vigor and young. So I've said to you right at the beginning of this lecture or this talk, a great anti-aging weapon is sleep, okay? And the common causes of disrupted sleep include stress. So try and get away from the stress. You always worry before. Don't go to sleep while you're worrying about things. Sort it out. Try to relax. And also about anxiety, depression. How many times do we now hear of mental health issues? And they're all a part of your mood, your depression, etc. And of course, I've also understand, being a sportsman, the pain that some people have. And if you have a painful situation, of course that will affect sleep. So you've got to try and overcome that, and sometimes you've taken too much medication, so you don't sleep. So sleep is number one priority. The second one is develop a passion, okay? And when men, particularly when you've worked, you retire. I see so many men who are 60, 65 plus, walking in the supermarkets, okay, looking slovenly as they're walking, holding on to the thing. They've got no sort of zip about life. They're feeling depressed. They miss work. So develop a passion. Get a hobby. Join the choir. Writing skills. Painting. There are so many things we could do today. So develop a passion and grasp it. The other one is choose a form of exercise that you love. Class work. You could work together as a team, a group. Exercise with music. All really helps you. Dog walking, you see, and of course gardening, therapeutic. All these are really good when you retire. Do the things that you said, when I retire, I'm going to do this, this, and that. And you know, a lot of people don't do this, and that, okay? Try to overcome your retirement. Forget about it. The people I've met never talk about what they used to do at work. They talk about all the things, the places of interest, like we're all sharing today and going on this cruise. You want to go to lovely, interesting places. The other one, don't feel bad about yourself. Be satisfied. There's always someone going to be better off. Don't worry about that. You've done well to where you are. Be satisfied. The next thing to look at is go out and learn things. Go out. Keep learning a musical instrument. There's also this wonderful University of the Third Age. I'm sure a lot of you are members. Wonderful organization. Keeps your brain going. You're meeting like-minded people, learning stuff, etc. And some people I've known who are 70 have just got a degree. They never had the opportunity when they were at school, raising a family, but they've suddenly said, Bill, do you know what? I've got a bachelor's degree. I'm now going to do a master's. They feel so accomplished, feel great and satisfied. The other thing is, cull toxic friends. They drag you down. You know the ones who are negative, they bring you down. Oh, Bill, I feel horrible, etc., etc. Try to go with people who are like-minded, who've got something about them. Take an interest in how you look. Say yes more often. Go out there and volunteer. And I've seen a lot of people so happy giving something back to the community. At least they're getting out the house and helping others. Ways to change your life. Make plans. Have dreams. I dream all the time. I want to try and stay as fit for as long as possible. I want to stop that aging process. You know it's going to win in the end, but I'm slowing it down. Slow it down. That's my dream. And if need be, see a therapist. Coping skills. Some people need that confidence booster. Tell you which way to go and help you. All the super agers I've met have three great qualities. They are all positive. So positivity is crucial. Tremendous resilience and perseverance. They've all got that. So how do you become a super ager? So let me just look at 3 or 4 people to share their experiences with you. So the ones I want to talk is Peter Murray, Dick Van Dyke, and the former pop star Jess Conrad. Peter Murray, I think he's just celebrated, he's either 97 or 98, the former broadcaster and actor. He stated when he's quoted in research, he's lucky to have the genes from his mother's side. He's always advocated to stay positive or active. He does a lot of golf, but he does a lot of stretching. That's one thing I will talk to you about. Our mobility as we age slows down and deteriorates. You lost that flexibility. Ladies in particular, you're more flexible than men. But so men, please try to keep your flexibility going, even in old age. 80 years, 90-year-olds, you see them. They're doing their flexibility exercise. Look at the Chinese, how they work out. They have a program for all people to exercise in the park. The other one is have a lively mind is important. Crosswords, etc. He goes to the socials and seeing friends. Keep the social network going. You learn from each other. You can share jokes with each other. Keep hydrated, okay? None of us drink a lot of water, okay? It's very, very important. Particularly if you've got relatives in care homes. They don't have enough liquid, okay? And that's one of the things that's really wrong. I've always said to people, keep moving and stay busy. You know the old saying, we've all said it, how did we have time to go to work? Because we are so busy doing other things. That's wonderful, really. I don't really know how I had time to work. I'm always busy. You get up at the same time, you go to bed as a regular to help your sleep patterns, but I'm never being that ward. They say, I am bored. Okay, why should you be bored? You're lucky to be alive. okay? And the other one, lifelong teetotaler. I don't believe that, but he just said he doesn't drink, but that's what he does. And the other one is, of course, no medication. But unless you've got pain, I fully understand that. And sometimes we're addicted to too many medicines that perhaps we don't need. Okay? So that's Pete Murray, 97. I think he might be 98. The other one is Dick Van Dyke, 97 again, 98, actor and comedian. This is what he said. In my 30s, I exercised to look good. All you men, I was the same. I want to look good and impress the ladies, okay? In my 50s, I wanted to stay fit. In my 70s, to stay ambulatory. And in my 80s, to avoid assisted living. Now in my 90s, I'm just doing this out of pure defiance, okay? Wonderful, wonderful attitude to have. And the other one is Jess Conrad, who's probably slightly older than me, but actually he's saying posture is very important. I've noticed being 6'4", I've tended to say I'm leaning forward. I've seen a lot of men, when you shuffle, you are down. Stay upright for as long as possible. But to stay upright, you need good abdominals. You need good strength of your back muscles. You want to avoid what we call kyphosis, which is the rounding of the back. You want to stay upright. Ladies, in the end, you go widow's peak. You've got to try and stay upright when you walk. Do some stretching. That will help your spine. Have a smile on your face, okay, which is important. I'm lovely to see your little smile in the beginning. How many times did you see your grandchildren? They come and see, they smile 300, we're lucky to smile twice a week, okay? So smiling while you've got your teeth is important, okay? So smile on your face. He's a regular gym user. You don't have to go every day. Let's go 3 days a week, 4 days a week, or even work from home. Walking counts, so he does exercise. Lots of walking. He says sunshine is important to him, in addition to some gardening. Try and remain positive in life. He says a good marriage helps you to keep you young. And again, he tries to take no medication if possible. So the key to a healthy aging is a healthy lifestyle. So I'll now move on to what is habit, okay? Can it improve your health? So habit can be the best of both evils. It can either be healthy, that is while you're doing regular exercise. So for example, I would say to you, if you've got a routine and you're going to the gym at say 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, make sure you do that all the time. You get that habit and say, sorry, I've got to go to the gym because I've promised to be in the gym with my instructor or teacher or my own personal trainer. So you go at 10 o'clock. Get that good habit. The unhealthy one is like, well, I will do it tomorrow, maybe. I'll have another beer and I'll think about it. Yeah, another 2 beers. Oh, no, etc. So it gets unhealthy. And the other one is slightly neutral. So if you can make a routine of being positive, to going to the gym, that will be good. So the things I would say to you, have a purpose. So get and remain fit and healthy. That's the target we should all be trying to do. Try to remain, if you're healthy, keep fit for as long as possible. Why? Some people go to the gym because the doctor said, you have high blood pressure, Mr. So-and-so. Go and exercise. And I will tell you, within 3 months, if you do regular exercise for those people who've got blood pressure problems, it will help you to alleviate, to get it back to normal. So exercise is what they would say is the magic bullet. Important. I haven't told you how strenuous. As long as you exercise and move, it'll be beneficial to you. It's your life. And you need to say, I'm going to get that down. I'm going to be active for as long as possible. Remain independent and having good functional status. You know, when you have functional decline in the elderly, it's the gradual deterioration of your independence, of your self-care capabilities. I'm afraid of that. I don't want to be like that. So I'm trying to remain independent for as long as possible. So what's the process? I would suggest you have a short-term plan, and then you can build up to with a steady progression. Never start like a galloping horse. Work slowly within your own capabilities. The other one, how do you do it? You should have a teacher to tell you what exercises, what you should be aiming for. And what I would say to you, all of you ladies and gentlemen, is that you need to keep your strength. And the other one, if you keep your strength, life will be that more easier. And the other one, balance activities, balance exercises. They are the two crucial things that you need to go, apart from looking after your heart. But strength work, strength activities, and balance activities. And how you maintain it, as I said, for as long as possible. So, can I just show the 17-7 trap pole vault?
I got it all on there.
77-year-old Don doing his pole vault, okay? What's interesting, being an athlete, is now there's a lot of competitions for people of age categories. So there's Master Champions at 50, 60, 70, and I've just had an email from a guy who's just won the World Championship or the European Championships as a discus thrower. Couldn't beat me, he was young, but he says he holds the British record for a 70-year-old. So I've had to say congratulations. Okay, so he's got an incentive to keep healthy and fit. Unfortunately, I've got a bad back, so I can't take up the challenge anymore. So physical activity and exercise. What are some of the findings for 220? People who are regularly active have the benefits of 30% lower risk of an early death. They have up to 35% lower risk of coronary heart disease, up to 50% lower risk of type 2 diabetes, up to 50% lower risk of colon cancer, and up to 30% lower risk of dementia, and up to 30% lower risk of depression. So straight away, the statistics tell you the benefits of physical activity. It will help you to live longer and healthier. So I will now talk to you about the three categories that the National Health Foundation have stipulated, and also the research at Loughborough: older, adults, and functional status. There are three groups which have been identified. The first one are known as the actives. And as you can see in the actives there, they're all achieving the guidelines of actually exercising over 150 minutes a week, okay? So they're the actives. They're the ones who actually have done so well. They can do all the things that they've done when they were young, in their 50s and whatever. These people are active and are achieving the guidelines. Well done. But there's another group, which is the largest group, and many of us fall into this category, those in transitions, the ones who don't do enough exercise, are still fit enough to do daily tasks, but actually are heading towards that frailer group. You're going to start to lose your independence over time. So they're the ones what we would call in transition, and they're where the government and also the health services are actually gearing fitness and saying, try to get up to the active category. And of course, sadly, we're all going to go to eventually, okay, but you try to keep this out, and that's called the frailer, older group, who actually are not doing enough exercise. They are staying down, and they then become losing their independence, and then you will feel they get lonely, suddenly depression comes in, and then you feel hopeless. That's the group you have to also help, because I will tell you what the governments are not doing to help this group. So what it is, in effect, is that we have less physical activity, and then there's what we would call a functional decline. So straight away, if you look at the top, decreasing physical activity, you're starting to have the spiral downwards, which is dangerous, okay? And you've got to try and put a stop to that for as long as possible. And each time you keep going, because then you lose your confidence, you have a fear of falling, and then all of a sudden you become hospitalized. So how do you keep fit? Very basic. I'll go back. I can't get the thing. Basically, it was just an exercise on my computer. No, can't get this one. Don't worry. Okay, the next thing to do is looking at vitamins. And the other thing, food ingredients. I think you should look at all your vitamin Bs. I've just had a test, for example, whether you're fit or not, slightly lower in your red blood count and your hemoglobin. So you've got to take a bit more iron. Ladies in particular, look, and that's why you're probably tired. So look at all how you feel and have a blood test, etc. So have a vitamin C. I'll look at vitamin C and have a look at the food types there. Anything which is rich in vitamin C will help you as well, help your bones and whatever. So again, look at your thing, and I'm not talking great detail on all the vitamins, but have a check of what you probably need for your body. Important feed ingredients, and I will now look at calcium, because I think calcium is so important for you ladies in particular with osteoporosis. Calcium is good for your bone health, your dental health if you've got your teeth, nerval functions, muscle activations, and blood counting. So I think that's all important. You have a look at it. And I'll talk about osteoporosis in a minute. The next thing, have a social interaction. As I said, the importance of it. You can see he's happy. You've got someone with a hand on his knee, so he's smiling. So I'm not advocating that, but you know what I mean? It's very nice to meet like-minded people, and you're all in clubs and whatever. So it's still very important. Keep it up. The other one is technology use. I remember when the computers were coming out, and I remember showing one of my grandsons the TT Isle of Man, and I was so impressed how fast it went. And I showed the picture to him, and he said, "Grandad, you haven't put the sound on." So I felt a little bit thinking I was a professor in sport, and I forgot to put this thing on. A little boy of 4 told me exactly what to do. But I'm beginning to get better, okay, like yours. So make use of technology. Okay, some of it's good. Don't do too much sitting down, but you learn. There's fitness trackers, there's Skype, there's some. We're all getting part and parcel of it. The other thing is a two-way process between young and old, and that has education. Never give up. You're learning all the time. What's good? I've seen young people being taught by older people, and the reverse: young people helping older people. What a lovely blend of people, the young and the old, working together to help one another. The other thing is to make sure you go outside, enjoy the green spaces, okay? This is where walking is wonderful. Those of us who live in, like, for example, the Peace District, where I did in Sheffield, there were so many walks to do. It was just a wonderful to get outside, fresh air, live in terrain, different terrain, etc. Next thing I would say, I mentioned volunteer. That's crucial as well, if you've got the time, got the energy to help other people. So long-term care, don't go for that one. Stay fit and healthy for as long as possible. Access to services, live where you've got access to services, that probably would help you as well. And the other thing, the big thing, which I think people are all affected, is the stresses in life, okay? We've all got stress. It could be things like someone's left you, someone's died, pressure from work. They all affect you, and they affect you in different ways. The body, okay? Straight away, fatigue and headaches. That's the stress. What's causing that, okay? So the stress is one. Another one, the mind. You know, when you're worried, I'm worried about things. It could be exams. We're worried about, for example, A-levels of children. They are worried. That's the stress, okay? You've got the emotion, the anxiety, apathy, and the behavior. If you've got stress, sometimes you can't sleep. Some people tend to drink more, etc. So they're all the old stresses. I did say try to be careful about painkillers. There were 67 million painkillers dispensed in 2020, and 11% of the population at that time is on drugs for pain, depression, anxiety, and sleep. But some doctors have actually created a medicated addictive society. If prescribed, don't take too many. Or, why do you ask, how long do I take this for, etc.? You need a different type of pain relief, and that's where exercise may come in. I do appreciate people are in pain and you need to take it. But some people I've asked, why are you taking it? Well, the doctor told me a few years ago I had a blood pressure bill. I said, have you got it now? Well, I don't know. How many tablets you're taking? So the question is, you need to ask, take medicine. What type are you taking? What dose? How long? And how often? You need to just think and ask, okay, why am I doing this? So I'm going to give you 10 tips for healthy aging. I'm sure you're all doing this. One is, watch what you eat and drink on this cruise, okay? Only wait till you get home, okay, then start, okay? Do it. Look after your teeth while you've got them. Stay active. Again, I say stay active. Make the most of your GP. Look at the things all talk about gentlemen and prostate trouble. Do you dare and go to the hospital? And then people have gone and said, good God, I'm glad I did because I found I've got prostate cancer. So if you've got some problems, don't be worried, don't be ashamed, just go. And there you are. Get a vitamin boost, like I said earlier. Very, very important. If you start to feel that your body is not doing the things that you thought it could do, and why is it causing me that to feel? Sort out your sleep and take all the tests that are offered to you. Stay in touch, and those people give up smoking. So the other one I would think is mood. I've had people who are very happy, and the other one's quite depressive. And what it is, boosting your mood and helping yourself feel more positive is a great thing to do, no matter how tough life can be. So again, 5 tips. Smile, so you know this is coming in more as we get older. Smile a bit more. Keep busy. Talk to someone. Help others. And live in the moment. Okay, don't worry like, in 5 months' time I might not be here. I heard a chap who was a friend of mine who said, this is the last World Cup football, Bill, I'm going to see. So I said, well, he's the same age as me. I said, where are you going? He said, well, I might be dead next week. So again, I thought, God, that's a shudder. Live for today, okay? The other one is mental well-being. There's so much today. In fact, it's not problems with older people. Actually, it's actually young people who suffer, and I do fear for them. So feeling well is not just about being physically fit and healthy. It's equally important to your overall health and how you feel good mentally. And the 2 common mental problems are depression and anxiety. And again, I will stress, and all people in collective with physical education and sport will say, exercise, being active, and meeting people will all help. And I had the greatest privilege to a man who I thought, God, has he had problems in life? And he was on a cruise, a couple of cruises with me, and it was Simon Weston, CBE, who was badly scarred in the Falklands War of 1982. Now, this guy had probably 70, I think, 80 operations. I think when he had that effect, it affected him mentally, and I think he said he drank himself every night and really got drunk, etc. But one day, woke up and said, enough is enough. I'm going to pull myself together. And where I met this man every time was in the gym, which I frequent every day myself, was in the gym. He's smiling away. He's recovered. He's an inspiration. And again, he shows that what human beings can do under duress, injury, etc. You pull yourself up together and say, no, I must do this and do that. And the same with your lifestyle. If you want to be healthy, you can achieve it. But you know in the end, it's going to win, getting older and older. But the secret, again, try to hold it back for as long as possible. And the other thing, if you feel anxious, go outside. Ask for help. Don't be afraid. Ask for help. Create something. Drink water, hydration. Write things down, how you feel, having a diary. And above all, which I don't personally do a lot, and I should do, take a deep breath. Deep breathing. If you're going to have a blood pressure test, I always get the white coat syndrome. Straight away, I know it's going to rocket. Because I think, oh no, it's going to be high. When I'm home, it's easy, because I've got my own monitor. So again, deep breathing helps. Stay relaxed, etc. Listen to music, not live music, being positive. So the value of relaxation, you know it's important. Relax. I don't think none of us do enough of it. I'm not talking about going to the bar and doing 10 pints, fall asleep. You need to create a nice relaxing phase yourself. Sleep, as you say, little kids, they need tons of sleep, and what you want to do is sleep like this girl, lovely and relaxed. All right, sleeping, you've gone. So let's look at what you need to do, physical activity for older adults. I said on the top all the benefits of exercise. I'm stressing that you should need to do at least 150 minutes of just moderate exercise, okay? That's just walking, take your dog off a walk, you can have your little tracks, how far you're going, for how long. Or, if you're the fitter type, you can do 75 minutes of what we would call high intensity. You know, go on the bike for short bursts, etc. Climbing stairs, you know, one that would raise your heart rate. Oh, I feel good. Not do it to a point of exhaustion, but that's where you will. I will always stress, and also the government will stress in physical activity, okay, always build your strength or maintain your strength for 2 days a week. And also, if you look on the far side, around the bottom, improve your balance. Do basic balance activities, standing on one leg, hold on, balance on the left leg, side bends. You can do leg extensions, keep those legs for strong as possible. And then you can do relaxation. And try to avoid the sedentary activities of sitting down for too long. And what's sedentary behavior? A group of behaviors that occur while sitting or lying down typically require very low energy expenditure. It's a risk factor for poor health, independent of physical activity. Also, if you sit down, you have loss of muscle function, mobility, and bone health. You have high levels of sedentary behavior also among older adults. This is us. We're not as active, so therefore you've got to try to make yourself a little bit more active, get off. Alarming levels in residential and nursing homes and hospitals. And I always say, this is the quote you all should remember. Are you heading for the beach or the nursing home? It's a sobering statistic or a sobering thought. I want to make sure I'm heading for the beach, because I've had my parents in homes, I've seen other people's parents in home. What a terrible, terrible place. It needs you, and they need help, and I will tell you soon what I think should be done. So avoid the chair, okay, sitting down for too long. So the basic exercise, which I was going to show a film, and it didn't come on, is really working an example. Look for endurance, okay? Daily walking, gradually increase time and pace. So you're starting to, nice. And you can have a conversation with your partner as well. So you're working, so you do endurance work. Always work for your strength. I've told you about your arms and shoulders, but also your legs. Balance, have a program of balance activities, and flexibility. And you do 150 minutes of moderate intensity will help you as well. So if you can have variety in your training programs, that will help you. Otherwise, you'll get bored too quick, too soon. Now, I don't want you to do strength and balance activities like that. There are other forms of exercise that you can do. And one nice strength conditioning, if you're strong enough and fit enough as an active, is playing with the little grandkids, doing a little sit-ups or press-ups with your knees on the ground. So I've always said, go for life. Endurance, 1. Flexibility, 2. Balance, 3. And flexibility, 4. And be creative, or ask your instructor or teacher, can you give me some exercises that will help and fit me? So the next thing I just want to do quickly is people with diabetes. Okay, exercise, please do it. I'm a diabetic, and I've found that exercise has helped me for the last, since I was diabetic when I was 57, so I've had 24 years. I've just taken 1 glycoside a day for the exercise after a meal has kept me, my blood sugar controlled. So this is what I think you should be doing. Walking, bit of weight training, yoga, swimming, and bicycling. They're the key factors. Those people who are diabetic, try to remain under the 6.5 if you do your test. Okay, anything higher, you know there'll be complications. I've heard people say, I'm not worried, Bill. And then I've heard they've lost their eyesight, or someone's lost a leg. You know, the circulation's poor. Take it serious. Those people are diabetic. Please take it serious. You can overcome it. Like I've just said, I've tried. Okay, eventually you know, and I've had trouble with my eyes. But actually, if you try to keep the control, you're good. The other one, when you're shopping, please have a look at the ones in red. Look at the labels. Try to make sure there's not too much fat, too much sugar. Check it. Another one I want to talk to you just briefly is dementia. There was a study by the Alzheimer's Research Unit, UK, 2019, states that only 1% of 2,361 people were able to name 7 known risk or protective factors for dementia. I hope you all know when I give you the answer what they were. And the risks were heavy drinking, genetics, smoking, high blood pressure, depression, diabetes. And the other one, the protective one, was exercise. So again, exercise is what they would say the magic bullet. And the other one I would just want to mention is Alzheimer's, because everywhere I talk to a group called Sporting Memories, and I go around all the people in Suffolk, clubs in Suffolk and dementia groups, helping to identify sportsmen and women over, the last 50 years. And it's surprising how the groups who have dementia have suddenly picked up who the sportsmen, and they're making conversations. And can I say that dementia, early onset dementia, is happening at a younger age, in their 50s, early 50s, which is unbelievable. But having this type of input is helping them. So Alzheimer's, the most common type of dementia, and it's described as early onset if diagnosed before the age of 65. Symptoms often include difficulties in problem solving, mood swings, and poor concentration, rather than memory loss. Not every patient with dementia will show signs of memory loss. The disease can be inherited, which I think a lot is, and having it diagnosed and understanding how to cope will help sufferers' quality of life immeasurably. So again, I've given you exercises, that what you can do, etc. And the last one I want to talk quickly is this wretched thing called osteoporosis, okay? And I would just think you look at the normal one, which is the far side, and then look how brittle this one is here. Women tend to lose their bone density 5 to 7 years after menopause. So again, you've got to have calcium, and I'll give you some exercises that you can do. And sometimes osteoporosis is only identified when you've had a fall. And then you think, good God, I've broken my leg so easily. And you know yourselves, ladies, and people like breaking their hips, don't ever recover, because it takes a long time because your bone density is not increasing. So what are some of the preventions? Your genes are responsible for determining your height and your strength for your skeleton. But lifestyle factors such as diet and exercise influence how healthy your bones are. Regular exercise is essential. So again, I'm telling you, this is what you've got to try and do. So what are the exercises? Someone suffering from osteoporosis is weight-bearing exercises. Resistance exercise, you can use little bands and stretching. Low impact, walking as well, doing aerobic work. So again, exercise is helping people who've got these issues and problems. Eating healthy, vitamin D supplements, and get some sun as well. So as I've said, exercise, the benefits. It can make you feel happier, it's particularly after training, you feel better. Help in weight loss, good for muscles and bones, helps to prevent osteoporosis, increases energy levels, reduces chronic diseases, it helps your skin to look younger, improve brain function, better quality of sleep, helps posture, and remain positive and slowly. And I'd like to just finish off and say to you, extra time. We were always told 70 years and 10. And when you hit a certain age, please make use of your extra time. You're only here once on this earth, so do everything to play for. And let me give an example, is David Hockney became the world's most famous iPad painter at 76. Tina Turner, the late Tina Turner, made the cover of Vogue at 73. Mushira, he climbed Everest at the age of 80. You've got the wonderful, wonderful super-ager, Sir David Attenborough, making TV series in his 90s. Loads of ordinary people who see extra time as an opportunity. And everyone's been telling me about Angela Rippon, 78, showing how people to dance. So again, it's all for you. So I'd like to finish up with a Winston Churchill, well, not actually a Winston Churchill joke, but a joke, because we started off with laughter. When man was first made, he only had 20 years of normal sex life. To him, this was horrifying. Meanwhile, the monkey had also been given 20 years of normal sex life, but he said he only needed 10 years. So he gave the other 10 to the man. Likewise, the lion, also 20 years, gave 10 years to the man as well. He agreed that 10 years was plenty. Finally, the donkey, agreeing with the other animals that 10 years was enough, gave the man 10 years. So all this explains today's modern man. He has 20 years of normal sex life, 10 years of monkeying around, a further 10 years of lying about it, and finally 10 years of making a complete ass of himself. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.